What's up, Moto Buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. What is the Taco Touch? It's the best service in the industry. Virtually 24/7 tech support via email or text, and it's like having a dirt bike doctor on call every day of the year, helping you fix your bike or recommend parts or setups for you. If you've ever received an order from us, you'll know that the Taco Touch extends to our fulfillment, and our orders come with the coolest stickers that you've ever had, buying parts from anybody before, and a handful of root beer barrel candies. All of our Taco Moto Co. branded components come with a no questions asked lifetime warranty, and we'll even extend out the warranty of other manufacturers, OEM, and aftermarket parts where we can, sometimes for life. We test and tune endlessly and exhaustively and obsessively. We're trying to destroy everything that we can before you get your hands on it to look for weaknesses and to improve it, or to make recommendations to the manufacturer. And if it's something that doesn't meet grade, then we don't offer it on the store. Everything that we carry is something that we have personally used, tested, and ridden, and raced, and knows meets the high Taco Touch demanding standard. Go out and get some adventure.
On this week's show, we talk about Yamaha's YZ125X and YZ250FX, the Honda CRF 450X versus the Honda CRF 450L. Some more 390 opinions. Also, can you make a recluse clutch in a foreign country? So you'll have to listen to the show.
Live from Pahrump, this is Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, and Pahrump is Valley of the Dirt People, and I am lucky to have one of our dirt bike test rider testers, dirt bike. He writes, he takes pictures, he's does everything. Trevor Hunter, welcome to the show.
I do some stuff every once in a while.
So we are in our 60th episode. Can you believe that?
I cannot, honestly. I can't.
And how many have you watched?
I think I watched the episode after Vegas Reno last year.
Okay.
I knew I'd come up in it, and I think that's the only one I've watched.
Right.
All the way through.
Okay, so don't tap on the table because you got a really sensitive microphone there, and this is mostly an audio format. So for everybody watching live on Facebook right now, that's pretty awesome. Thanks for joining in. If you are watching us on YouTube, it's probably a day or two later, and you can watch there. I'm not sure why anybody would watch it, right, Trevor? Unless we're going to talk about them, and then this could be in a podcast format, and we might have a new sponsor coming on that is going to make sure that episodes 1 to 30 get uploaded into the podcast format properly, and then start continuing with from 50 and beyond. So we're working on things. This show is brought to you by Climb Gear. We've got a good contest coming up with Climb. They have a giveaway. You know how much I like giveaways because everybody likes giveaways, but I want them to be special. So we actually had one idea that since it was my idea, it got ash canned, and then we came up with a better idea, which I don't know if we'll talk about it tonight. Might give you some hints tonight, but we're actually going to do a post on dirtbiketest.com about how you can do something really cool. And it's kind of cool because somebody's going to win something and everybody's going to learn something. And that's kind of what I like about things like that. It's a win-win-win. Right? So Climb makes really awesome off-road gear. I got to wear it all day yesterday. That's why I looked better than Trevor wearing whatever indescript gear that I couldn't tell what he was wearing because
it was not Climb.
So I was wearing the Vented XC Light gear, and it was probably 93, 94, especially down in the valley down here.
Yeah, it's a little warm. Once you got up in the mountains, it cooled off a little bit, but I was definitely a little jealous of your little side pocket you have in your pants.
Oh, that's. I was just going to say that there's a real. Besides how light it is and how tough it is, the little pocket makes a big difference because especially for someone like you, you're always reaching for your phone because you got to text and Snapchat and Instagram. What are the kids into these days? What Snapchat? That's it. Isn't there a new one? That's going? What's Twitch? Is Twitch? What's a Twitch? Is that one? live stream thing. You got a Twitch? Yeah, I got to get on that. DJ Z Trip is on that, and he's one of my favorites. So welcome everybody. This show is also brought to you by KTM, and KTM, powered by a distinct ready-to-race mentality. KTM is the world's leading high-performance street and off-road sport motorcycle manufacturer with North American headquarters based in Murrieta, California. Over the years, KTM has built a reputation as a fierce competitor on racetracks around the world, and the brand's remarkable global success is reflected in every product it develops and every move it makes. Did you know that, Trevor?
I did, yes.
You did? Okay.
I ride a KTM.
You ride a KTM. But we're going to talk about Yamahas tonight on the KTM-sponsored Tech Talk Taco Tuesday, and that brings me right up to one of the questions I wanted to get into before we got too deep in this. I moved on to this one. It is by our good friend, Curtis Kelly, who is a longtime listener. In fact, he said he listened to all 57 episodes. Listened to them, watched them somehow. I think he was watching them on YouTube, but he says, I have to pass on listening now that KTM is your sponsor. Your show is 90% KTM talk, and now you will fit it in even more somehow. Too much for me to take. Thank you for 57 awesome Tech Talk Taco Tuesday podcasts. Hey, Curtis, thanks for joining us for that long. We're going to miss you. So sponsors, that's the only way this thing's going to keep going. And we're going to have lots of sponsors, and it's going to get bigger and better, and it's not going to change. You might have to listen to a read like I just did. Maybe we won't have to do those kind of reads. Maybe they'll figure out better, more organic ways for me to deliver messages that sometimes I deliver anyways, but they should probably sponsor them so I can deliver those messages. Trevor, do you know what the best bike in the world is if you wanted to buy a motorcycle right now? And I don't know anything about you.
I would say KTM.
Well, that's the first part of it. Remember, the KTM makes probably like 27 different models.
Yeah, they make too many for me to remember. 250 XCFW.
Oh, you're ridiculous. No, I would never, okay. Not even close. KTM 500 EXC. That's the best bike ever.
That was too much power for me.
Well, of course, yeah. And if KTM did make Husabergs, but if they still made Husabergs, you should ride my Husaberg 570. You know how fast it is?
I don't want to know how fast it is.
That's good. Good answer. So, okay, now that we got the KTM and Husaberg talk in, what have we been riding the last couple of days?
We've been riding some Yamahas, 2020 Yamahas.
Yep.
We got the 2020 250 FX and the new 125X.
Yeah. So you got to go to the intro way back in, was it like November?
Yeah, I think it was right around Thanksgiving time, I want to say. So yeah, mid-November.
You and that other guy that used to do stuff with us?
Yeah, that one guy. I can't remember his name.
I can't either. Yeah, he's gone.
I remember him. I haven't seen him in a while. I heard from him in a while, but
he tried to go someplace else, but that one didn't work out either.
I don't know. This COVID thing's kind of a little tricky.
So, well, even in the midst of COVID, Yamaha decided to get us some test bikes, which is good because we need stuff to talk about and ride. And so we've been ripping around out here testing them. Little desert loop 2 days ago. Did some desert stuff, mostly photos. And then yesterday we went and nearly ran out of gas. Although, to my surprise, we did 50. You said on your GPS it was like 56 miles?
Yep, 56 miles.
So pretty sporty riding, and made it back on fumes. The 125 needed an extra gallon, and it could have gone about 10 more miles, I think.
Yep. With
what was in it, but that FX was really pretty empty. So I have a question. So what on the FX? What is new? Is that kind of like an all new bike? In 20?
Yeah, so the 19 FX would have been kind of the same as the last 4 or 5 years.
So so you had to plug the tuner into the old one, and now this one has the Wi-Fi, which I think is one of the best little tuning apps available. It's pretty cool that you can tune bikes like that. But so that, and then that means it got the all new chassis. Like, I mean, it's not really all new, but it's revised.
Updated, yeah.
Yeah, and then they did a lot of little tweaks inside the motor.
Yep.
You want to explain those more in detail?
I got the updated chassis, so it resembles like the 18 or 19 450, the 19 like 250F. Same with the motor. Motor's probably pretty similar, if not identical, to the 250F, other than some mapping.
Yeah, I think
some transmission.
Literally from the edge of the air boot all the way through the whole thing to the exhaust. I think the motor parts of it, the parts that are making power, is all the same.
Yep.
But then it has a 6-speed. Is the transmission the same on the 250?
No, it's a 6-speed. I believe it's wide ratio.
Do they do wide ratio on it?
I think the last generation bike was. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. See,
so I assume this one is too.
You weren't ready to have your facts checked, were you?
I was not. I was hoping that's where you're the expert.
I know. I'm asking you, and then I'll try to remember. But I got to remember a lot of other things. Do you know what your primary job as a co-host on the show is?
Talk when you're not talking.
Right. Do you know why?
Because you're trying to figure out what to talk about next.
No, because I'm thirsty.
Okay, that too. Shows you how much I watch.
I know. So keep talking when you see me pick that thing up. Hopefully George over here doesn't trip over and knock over the entire studio or unplug something. But I appreciate him being safe. Okay, I think we're gonna. So that bike, I was pretty impressed with it, actually. I kind of didn't expect much, because it's a 250F and all that stuff, but it's just such a good bike. I mean, it's just a really good all around. I mean, we did everything from kind of extreme enduro riding to riding around stuff that was kind of like tracks and hitting stuff that was motocrossy, and we haven't taken it to a track yet, but it really does a little bit of everything, and we'll get into that and the 125X a little bit later. Another industry friend of mine, Lucas, texted me, and I thought I'd bring it into the show. He said he's wants to know about getting a Moose, and he's been running Moose, and he wanted to know what I would do when he has kind of one that's sort of worn out, and he's like, well, should I cut it and stuff an extra section of Moose inside of there to space it out and stuff it up that way, or should I wrap it in an inner tube? These are all kind of tricks that people do to make their Moose last longer. And I was typical Jimmy, and I called him a cheapskate and said, just buy a new one. and probably because I would be doing the same thing as I'd be cutting one right now and stuffing it in there, wrapping a tube around it. Both of which are kind of viable things. But what happens when mooses get that old? When you need to do that to stuff it up, they essentially shrink. So sometimes they shrink by just heating and cooling so much, and they wear. There's some wear inside there, and so they end up shrinking. But when they do that, you're losing the ability for the moose to keep the bead on the rim. There's just not enough quote pressure in there, just like air pressure. Not enough pressure to keep in there. So when you do these other things, a lot of times, where the moose is soft, since it's not pushing the tire out, it actually lets it, it makes it easier to fall in. So you can have that kind of a failure. And then I always run back to the point of like, okay, how much is my ride worth, if it gets ended at a half a day, which happened to me a couple weeks ago. But is it really worth it in the grand scheme of things? And then that moose, and he was saying, but I really like how soft it is for the technical trails and the real extreme riding. And that's when it's like, I always have a spare wheel. I have two wheels for almost every bike, but I have a second wheel kind of a thing. And I have a one that's like that I know I'm not going to do any high speed on, and I'm going to use it for that kind of extreme enduro. So I sort of have this moose assembly line where, I have brand new ones and the ones I do like rally and high speed stuff with. And then for just like regular everyday riding, those are the ones that are in maybe their second or third tire. And then I have these ones that are beat that may actually consist of two old mooses that I've stuffed into a single tire that's in a dented up rim. And that's my kind of extreme enduro wheel when I know I'm going to be crawling around in rocks and I want little to no pressure, and I'm not going to be that far away from where I can get it fixed when it does come off the bead, because it will. And I typically run 2 rim locks on those ones as well, so that it stays all together. So that was my my Moose suggestion to him. So does that make sense?
Yeah, I run mooses too. Typically, I run the Nitro mooses.
Yep.
Just they last a really long time. They don't seem to fall apart necessarily when they wear out, but they seem to shrink.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you found that too, but
it depends. It just depends on how lubed up they are, how much high speed, how much. It's mostly how you're hitting bumps. Like hitting the bumps is what really beats them up. And Lucas was kind of worried about. He's like, I never ride at high speed, and he's like being really careful. I'm like, don't worry about it. No, you can go 70 miles an hour for 10 minutes, and it's not going to hurt it. It's if you're going 70 miles an hour on UTV bumps or like on a washboard road, that's hard on it, because it's those impacts that are, and it's spinning, it's generating friction, that's generating heat. So all that kind of plays into the scenario. So, somebody else, one of the last questions we just got on the post that we announced the show on is Jimmy, KTM 690 or Husky 701. I have not seen any of these bikes tested on your site, and I'm curious what you think. And do you think there should be a more lightweight variant of one of these bikes? I'm paraphrasing that because it was so late I actually hand wrote it in. Well, as you know, I hate those bikes. I'm not great motor. It's got a great motor in it, and the chassis is designed to do everything well, which means it does nothing all that good. Unless you want a single cylinder, real single cylinder dual purpose or adventure touring bike, then I think it kind of has its place there, although it's, limited in gas tank range. But anyways, not my favorite bike. And how do I think about a lightweight variant? I think that they have it. It's called the KTM 500, and it's the lightweight version of that. You don't need one of those other ones. And the 500 will do everything that bike will do, I think, on road for the most part, and do everything off road times 5. So that's it was Kurt, I think was his. I should have wrote the name. I wrote the name down on the second page of your sheet, I think. Did I? I can't remember his name. Kurt. No, this page. No, I don't know why I wrote it down. I lost track. Where are you? So do you have this? Do you have this sheet?
I have.
No, you don't use this one. That's old.
I have Lucas, I have Lee, and I have Curtis.
Right. What is the hi again, Jimmy? Say, you can read that question.
This is from Lee, it looks like.
Yep.
Hi, Jimmy. Can I get some bike purchasing advice, please? I'm 63, in pretty good shape, strength, and agility-wise. I want to get a bike for riding the BDRs over the next few years with the intent of hauling the bike to the trailheads to minimize road time. I've got a Goldwing for riding slabs. Lighter is better. I raced MX 20 years ago, and the YZ426 was too heavy to pick up in the sand, and I was 40. Going fast is no longer important. I'm more interested in having fun, picking good lines, maintaining balance, which is why we're planning to take your class, which I agree, and riding through tight stuff with finesse versus speed. 2 bikes that have caught my eye are the Yamaha TW200 and the Kawasaki KLX 230. They are simple, air-cooled, capable of cruising at 60, and able to carry light camping gear. I value your insights. What do you think? 10 or 20 years ago, I would have taken your advice and bought the KTM 500. Today seems overkill. Thanks in advance. Lee.
Yeah, Lee. You can tell Lee listens because he preempted my strike of I was just going to say KTM 500. Of course, that's only because this show is sponsored by KTM. Otherwise, I would say something else like Honda Fat Cat.
Yep.
Right?
That's a good alternate.
Yeah. Well, same. No. So, man, when he went, I was reading that, and when he goes, well, first he says YZ426 was heavy to pick up, and at that point I'm going, wow, that really, if that's heavy, that's really limiting, bikes like BDR style bikes and stuff like that. But then he starts talking about speed, just cruising, going slow. the TW200 is this. It's a, if you're not familiar with it, are you familiar with it?
It's like kind of like a fat tire kind of bike.
Tire. It's like ATV tires.
It's
on
like small, a little smaller too.
Yeah, really short ATV tires. I'll bet you it weighs as much, if not more, than the YZ426. By the way, but since it's like a little bit lower to the ground and it has these big round rolly tires, you don't have to pick it up as far. It's not much of a lever. But I would be really hesitant to want to ride something like that, just because they are very, very awkward. And Yamaha, actually, the very first ones had the big fat tires, like the Honda Fat Cat, which I think Yamaha made it first, but I don't know why they thought there was a market for that. I don't know what crazy drugs they were working on at that point. But so Yamaha actually kind of shrunk the wheels a little bit to make it a little bit smaller, a little more narrow, so it would handle a little bit nicer. I don't have a whole lot of time on them, so I can't really comment beyond what I just told you. I've probably ridden all of 20 minutes on one of those things, mostly just goofing off to see what it would and wouldn't do if it did anything better than anything. But if you rode into sand with the low pressure in the tires, it floats on top like an ATV does. It's one of the few motorcycles I've ever ridden where lowering the tire pressure actually does something. But if you came off of the sand and rode that bike anyplace else, it felt like a wheelbarrow with really low tire pressure. So the KLX 230, I think we have a test up on that on the site. We have an impression of that up on the site. That's probably a good little bike. Honda makes you said air cooled, and Hondas now are liquid cooled. The CRF 250Ls, of course. I was starting to think KTM 390. It was another thought, because that's going to be a really comfortable bike for BDRs, but it's heavy.
It's heavy.
Yeah, it's a little bit too big. So and then on the Yamaha front, Yamaha makes a XT 250, I believe. That's a little bit more like a regular bike. It has I'm pretty sure it's 18 and 21 inch wheels. It might be a smaller rear wheel. It might be a 17 inch rear wheel on the back, but it's another kind of simple light ones. But once you're down to those, that KLX 230 and those type of bikes, performance wise, you're not going to get a big variance. You're really not. They're not designed for performance, so you can't say like one suspension works remarkably better than the other. I think you're kind of at that point like looking at features, like is the gas tank big enough? But they all sort of hover around the same spec sheet. So since you just ruled out the KTM 500, I think I'm useless to you. I would look at. I have a couple. I don't know if Suzuki even makes the DR. Well, actually, you know what? You need to go check out Torture Test, because he thinks the DR200 is the best bike for you. He's
going to be heavier than the KTM.
The DR200. Oh, all of that stuff. Yeah, everything's heavier than the KTM's, the competition bikes, but it's the size. And I think, in all honesty, it'd be really interesting to like lay over a TW200 and pick it up versus laying over even a KLX 230, because they are heavy bikes. But since how far it is off the ground, and that is a concern for some people. So, hopefully, Lee, we answered that question. I forgot our buddy Curtis said, "Jimmy, you're a stud, and your show is awesome." That's how he started off his thing before he told me he was quitting my show. It's like somebody else I know. So, what does Eric and Kate Garrett want to know? And I don't know who I'm talking to at that point.
Let's see.
I'll tell you. I'll guess after we read it out.
Eric and Kate Garrett. I just bought a 2015 YZ250FX, switching from an 08 KTM 300 XC.
Oh, it's Katie. It's definitely Katie.
Okay.
Because like the guy would be going, I'm getting rid of my 300 XC. It doesn't have enough power. I'm getting the Harley powered adventure bike.
Yeah.
As my second dirt bike. Okay, keep going.
One fork seal's leaking, so I need to replace seals. Can you recommend a fork oil weight and quantity? I'm 200-pound novice, trail riding only, maybe spirited trail riding. Thanks, guys.
Is that Katie? Katie's looking for fork seal. Why? Okay, I got a question. Maybe you can answer, Trevor, because sometimes I need help with my people skills. So he just bought a 250X, YZ250FX,
Yep.
and then he's switching to he's switching off this 08 KTM, and then it has nothing to do with like where did the KTM come into the picture?
Maybe
maybe he thinks since KTM sponsors his show, he has to say something KTM in order for me to talk to him.
Could be.
Curtis, you're right. You're winning. I'm going to lose all my other viewers too.
Or he knows you're a KTM fanboy.
I am not. I like Husabergs. Okay.
According to Curtis, you are.
Okay. No, he never even accused me of that. He just said then since they're sponsoring, I think we're just trying to keep it with that little KTM thing. We're just trying to keep it into 90%, the 90% range.
That's what it is. Do you edit that in?
No,
Okay.
It's really there. You read the question.
Like, you could have edited that in for me.
I did not. Okay, so can I recommend a fork oil weight and quantity on a 2015 YZ250 FX? Not off the top of my head. I will tell you with 100% certainty, though, that your owner's manual will tell you exactly what you should put into that. If you don't have an owner's manual, you can go on one of the many forums, and then you have a 75% likelihood of getting the proper information. Sometimes you can search on YouTube, and you're going to find the guy that used a chisel and a drill press to change his seals, and he'll tell you how much oil he put in it too. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know it off the top of my head, so I'm not going to tell you what it is. But I'm pretty sure Race Tech has on their website has a very, very informative chart with like spring rates and oil levels, and because I think I've gone to it a few times in the past. That has, for every year. And I think they might even give you like kind of a tuning range. So it might be one more thing you have to type into the internet. But if you listen to this show this long, you obviously have plenty of time to do stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But if you need to replace, if a fork seal is leaking, here's, and I talked to somebody about this. They called and asked about something and talking about fork seals. If it's just one that's leaking, and it's just leaking a little bit, a lot of times it's just dirt has gotten up in there. And there's this neat little tool that was called a seal saver. It was like a little Teflon little piece of material. It had like a hook on it, and you could slide it up around inside the fork seal. It was thin. It'd slide up underneath, and it would pull out the dirt. And a lot of times that would renew your fork seals, make them new. But if it's a bigger leak, and I always do this whenever my fork seals leak, I check the tubes to make sure a rock hasn't flipped up and put a little nick or a chip in them. And then, you can take that off with a stone. There's ways you can kind of knock those burrs down and then clean the seal out, and it'll be just as good as new. But if it continues to leak, then it needs to be serviced and stuff. And those forks are complex enough. It's a closed cartridge fork. So for most people, it requires taking them to a suspension guy and having them disassembled and put in there. Although if you don't touch the cartridge, a lot of times you can pop the seals out pretty easily. And as long as you put the right amount of oil out in the outer tube, you could be good as well. So,
yeah, me and my dad have done plenty of fork seals, and it's not too complicated.
You just take them off, flip them upside down, impact the sucker off.
Yep.
Pop it out, leave the cartridge intact.
Yep.
And the oil actually, at that point, all the oil stays down. Like the oil from the outer tube stays in the upper part of the fork that's now upside down.
We've always took the fork caps off and drained the oil.
Drain it out. Okay.
And then just put new oil in.
Yeah.
And we typically put, I want to say like 300 milliliters on most of my Yamahas over the years. So
Yep.
maybe that's a good reference point.
In the outer tube
Yes.
only.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then other thing on fork seals is if your forks aren't aligned properly, they'll typically put the right side fork seal out, so not the brake side, but the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I found so Motion Pro makes a good tool for aligning it, or like companies like suspension companies like Precision Concepts on their website, they have like tech tips on how to properly align it,
Right.
just with your regular garage tools too.
Yeah. No, if the wheel's off the ground and stuff, if the forks aren't bent and stuff, they will center themselves if you know how to properly, tighten the axle. Because essentially, most axles they're pulled. The nut on the one side binds all the bearings and stuff and pulls it all together. And as long as that clamp on the other side is loose, everything should kind of slide in and out, and then it'll center right up. But that's a good point. Yeah, it could be just that your Forks are kind of in a bind.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, hey, San Felipe Bob has a couple questions tonight. Yeah, I wonder if he's in the chat room. You seen him yet, George?
Yeah.
He's there. He's live. He's getting his questions answered live. I usually skip over his questions for some reason, but these ones, no, not being mean. These ones, because usually they require too much explanation, and usually he's trying to pick a fight with me. But he says, San Felipe, we have a TTR 125 with a 150 kit on it and an aftermarket Mikuni carb. It runs great. The only problem is that the FMF pipe is a bit too loud for our riding area, which, you know what, happens to be my backyard. Yeah. And I agree with them. I kind of wondered that. Do you have any sound advice, pun intended? Yeah, I have some sound advice. Put the damn stock muffler back on it, Bob. Go back to stock. I know it's running good with that Mikuni on there. And you can just maybe do some slight jetting changes on the Mikuni to make it run perfect with a stock pipe. My TTR out here has a stock pipe on it, right? Logan, yes?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. I most of my mini bikes have stock pipes on them because they actually do run pretty good, and they're quiet. And then you can ride them around in my yard, in the neighbor's yard, next to the neighbor's yard, all those different places. Question number 2, can you recommend a good emergency patch kit for tubes? Yeah, it's called a moose. Yeah, if you have a moose in your tire, that patches every flat that I know of. I have not had much luck with patch kits, although at the time there was this, well, I think the company, I think it's still, Slime I think was making them, but they had something called scabs. They were Slime scabs, and they were just peel and stick emergency patch because they were purple. I remember them because they matched my buddy Dave's riding gear, and sometimes he'd stick, because he looked like Barney the dinosaur, so we'd stick scabs on him when he'd tear his jacket. But they were really good at fixing it out in the field, probably the easiest ones, and probably one of the only ones that work because you don't have to work with any glue or any other stuff. You would stick it on there, but it would only get you home. If you let the bike sit for a while, it seemed like maybe they would dry out, or the adhesion wasn't that good for longer periods of time, and then it would leak out again. So it will get you out of there, but you shouldn't be riding a bike with patch tubes anyways. You should kind of replace it like when you get home. So it did the job. So yeah, I don't know if they're still around. Did you search it yet, George? Slime scabs? What? You're slacking over there. Boy, you're at home, you're cranking, you're getting stuff done, and you come in here and
Need a beer?
pizza, beer, and you got a beer. That's not really a beer? Or it's low tide. Low tide. Well, that's why you call out low tide. Yeah, so it's slime scab patch is what I would search. So if you're wondering what we're talking about, a lot of times we have the live chat going in the Facebook room, and so we pop up some of these links and stuff. If George is really super solid, he would be tagging them to our Amazon link account, and then we would get a small little chip of that. If you do want to buy something on Amazon, especially when you're buying, home entertainment systems, cars, computers, rack servers, all the stuff that you buy on a regular basis, go to Dirt Bike Test, and doesn't matter. I know there's just a bunch of KTM parts down there, but type in whatever you want and then click it, and then then maybe we won't have to have KTM advertise anymore, and I can talk about Amazon all the time, which may just be all everything's evil these days. Yes, Randy Fish, it is Casadores tequila tonight. That is true. I haven't had time. Trevor got talking. Trevor was so interesting talking, I listened to him instead of reached over for a drink. That's good. You're good at this, Trevor.
I am.
You're natural. Yeah.
I was a little nervous coming in.
I know. Did you get? Where's all Trevor's friends in the chat room? They should be heckling you.
I told him there was no Taco Tuesday tonight.
Good. Let's see. So that's the patch quit. Tour of. Oh, I like this one. What does Guido M say about the Tour of Idaho?
Let's see. KTM and their electronic fuel systems are unreliable and will make you walk home. Do yourself a favor and ride the old carburetor bikes so you don't have to walk out of the wilderness. What do you have to say about that, Jimmy?
Well, I did say something. I actually responded to him on the Tour of Idaho video, on the YouTube video, because, well, first of all, he doesn't really pay much attention when he's watching, because my fuel injection system did not go wrong. I actually thought it was, because it felt like a fuel pump stopped working. What stopped working was the connection between my wiring harness and my ECU. It came disconnected, which is pretty well explained in the video if you're paying attention. But, I give him a break. Who wants to listen to me talk all the time? He was probably like drinking a beer right when that happened, and he just thought, oh, KTM fuel systems are no good. So I said, I thought he was freaking crazy, and I made a deal with him. I said, I think I have 22 KTM RFS bikes that all work and are all in really good condition. Those are the ones with carburetors on, and I have some Hondas CR450Xs with carburetors on them, and I have some Yamahas WRs with carburetors on them. I said, if he wants to bring me any KTM, fuel-injected KTM, I will trade him straight across for a carbureted bike. Anytime, any day. Just bring me that fuel-injected KTM that works, that's in good running shape, like the bike I'm going to trade you for, and you can trade it for any of those carbureted bikes all day long. And I'll put my bike's where my mouth is. And I don't care. I don't care if it's a KTM or if it's Yamaha or it's a Honda. I like the fuel-injected ones better than I like the carbureted ones. And I even bitched about it yesterday when I was changing a jet on the YZ125X, which is actually pretty simple to do. Yeah?
Yes, but you were complaining.
I was complaining.
You even posted on Instagram about it.
Because I got gas on my hands. I'm tender, sensitive.
Just wanted to clean your hands.
Okay. What? Should we save that next question for Logan? Yes. Yeah, we're saving the next question for Logan.
Yes, definitely.
Right. What is Matthew Polanka?
Matthew, this is more like a 390 Adventure GTS. Still hoping for an R version with spoke wheels, higher travel suspension, bigger tank.
So, Matthew, you know what? You're right. I'm not even going to argue with you. It is kind of it has just enough adventure to where it's adventure, especially like we did when you put knobby tires on it. Change the tires. And we're talking about the KTM 390 Adventure. And since you're hoping for an R version, just for you, I am going to take our bike and I'm going to turn it into that bike that you were hoping for. I'm going to fix some of the little things that we complained about and try to make it a little bit better. So I will keep in tune, keep paying attention. So our next one is what is Eric?
Eric the Fathead?
Eric the Fathead, yeah. Eric the Fathead. What does Eric the Fathead say?
Another KTM question. So,
no, it's a statement.
Oh, statement. KTM needs to release a more off-road version with spoke wheels. I assume that's for the 390?
That's for the same thing. It's the 390. Yeah, so it's funny because this is a kind of recurring theme with the comments we're getting on that video. A lot of people are saying this, so wait till you see what we're going to do with this thing. I'm pretty sure we're going to, try to do that. And I guarantee you KTM's paying attention and listening. They do a lot of market research and they're paying attention to it. So yeah. Recluse. We have a question about the Recluse clutch. You have to read his name and then say his question.
Oh man. Sundar Mohan Gahala.
Wow, you should come in here more often because I sure as heck wouldn't have gotten that.
Let's see. Please let me know if it's available for Royal Enfield Interceptor 650.
Well, Sundar, I'm not the Recluse catalog. He watched our Recluse tuning video. We talk about how a Recluse clutch works and some options for you to be able to tune it with the weights and springs. And then he wanted to know if it's available. Well, actually, I was talking to Recluse, and guess what? They think it is available for they had it available for the it said Royal Enfield INT on their spec chart or some of their things. So 650. So maybe maybe it it was. And obviously our Recluse is getting a lot of international attention. Next question.
I'm not going to read that name.
What?
I'll leave that one to you.
Well, why don't you? Yeah, no, don't leave it to me. You go ahead and give it your best pronunciation. And if you're watching this live, I'm gonna hold it up to the camera right now, just so you can see what it is. Yeah, go for it.
This is from Jimmy, the KTM fanboy. Do you have a picture from the different springs and wedges too? Is it possible to combine springs and or wedges in one/same system too, or only one kind of springs wedges? Is it possible to coat the rails with special coating for less friction? Does it work with more faster reaction? The rings, are they made from steel or aluminum? The fastener made them from steel too. Asking if it possible to the EXP ring lighter and enter less friction for higher reaction of the heavy system. Smiley face, smiley wink face.
So Logan, you don't feel so bad anymore? I don't just give you those kind of questions with hieroglyphics for your name and a question. Well, obviously English is his second or third language or fifth language. These guys are usually pretty smart sometimes, especially the guy who, when I get this email, I go, he's trying to knock off a Recluse clutch. He saw the pictures. He's drawing up the schematic diagram, and he can't figure out what the materials are. So he's gonna ask me for the materials list, so he knows what to build the Reclusicon clutch built in I don't know what country that language or that is from. So I really don't know. I mean, if it's truly an honest question, maybe there's something lost in translation and stuff there. There's lots of pictures of the springs and wedges on dirtbiketest.com. You can go there. It's just a click away. They're different colors. They're pretty. And we explain to you what the colors mean. And the wedges, there's different weights. And the materials in the wedges are a little proprietary, believe it or not, because that's how they're getting the mass out of them to make them operate differently. Yeah, the outer rings are made of aluminum. I think it's a special kind of aluminum. There are coatings on it, and on the wedges there's little Teflon plates, and it's a pretty ingenious little device. And
the tech support is so responsive.
Yeah, really good tech support there. Maybe he can just call him up and ask him to send the mechanical drawings, and then he could just fire it up at the factory. I don't think they're that responsive, the tech support. So, hey, we get all kinds of questions here, and we can answer 9 out of 10 without referring to a reference manual. This is about, we have some questions about Hondas now. Even on this KTM sponsored show, we are going to answer Honda questions tonight because KTM lets us, because we're good like that. Actually, they don't control what we do. What does Milo want to know? That's an easy name, Milo Cook.
I can read that one.
Right.
Cheers, Jimmy. I live in the PNW and can easily ride to the forest or high desert. I ride a Honda 450L for that reason. Power is not a problem. However, the jerky off-idle throttle response is problematic. My neighbors, and hence me, like the quiet pipe, so really just wanting to correct the jerky throttle. DynoJet, Vortex, or Recluse, which would you recommend? Appreciate your straight talk and knowledge.
Well, we only have questions about Hondas if it involves a problem with the Honda on this show. But, Honda could sponsor this, and we could only have good, positive Honda questions. The views expressed on this show are the views of the host and his co-host only, not that of KTM at any time during this podcast. So the Pacific Northwest, Milo, you got some good riding up there. And the 450L, I agree with you. And we did some things to our test bike, and I don't know where. If you saw it on that CR450 video, I'm kind of perplexed as why you didn't pick up on the stuff. But because we did do some of those things, we did a JD jetting kit, and we did a Recluse, and we did it on the X and some of the things on the L. I was able to get rid of about 80% of that jerky off throttle stuff with only the JD jetting tuner. And and for that matter, there's a company called Dobeck that also makes, it's called EJK, Electronic Jet Kit. It's a similar, very similar type of tuner that does the same thing. I have not had any experience with the DynoJet, any of their stuff on anything but twin cylinder bikes lately. And I just got my first new Vortex ignition for a KTM 500 just the other day. So I haven't had any experience because I actually wanted to go get the 2-position switch, which is off of a Honda CR450X. And I went, and that Vortex is so old that they use completely different plugs and wires and the whole 9 yards. So now I need to get the switch. But I don't have any experience with the Vortex, and I don't know what it does. I would suspect that if you wanted to keep your pipe stock or quiet, that the Vortex might not. They tune those things generally for guys that are doing a lot of mods, and so maybe it's I don't know until I actually used it. The Recluse doesn't really affect the way that the power is, like what's happening between your wrist and the throttle body and the way the power is delivered, but you can kind of tune the engagement of the clutch to soften that kind of jerkiness, so it's like you can set it up so, especially with the auto clutch, you can set it up so it's a softer kind of, it slips a little bit more so you don't actually feel it as much. Although that wouldn't be the way I would go. It would be like a Band-Aid for the problem, not actually a cure for the problem. And the tuners are a cure. Going to a slightly more freer flowing exhaust, like an FMFQ, for instance, can solve some of that, but that needs to be done in conjunction with a fuel tuner as well. You're going to need a fuel tuner no matter what. So that's my straight talk and knowledge for you, Milo. That's good. And I think that runs us through the majority of our questions. I was gonna run up through the ones that are on the. Are there any good ones up in the chat room there?
Victor post.
He's out of Facebook jail.
No.
Vic.
He can message me.
Oh, he messages you. So Victor, who's in Facebook jail, has to message George in order to get his questions read. Is it PG-13? We got some kids in the house tonight.
Yeah. No. Let's go back. There's a guy with a 500 trying to get. He's talking about changing the crank shaft to reduce vibration on a.
Oh, is this Florian Schwantz? Is that Jimmy seeking your thoughts on a titanium conrod for a KTM 500 EXCF? Our sole goal is vibration reduction for extended races, 20 plus hours. Do you feel a vibration reduction would be accomplished? I would assume the counterbalance shaft may need a rebalance. I have a European manufacturer that can build a few sets. I don't think the KTM 500s vibrate all that much to begin with. So, but I guarantee if you threw a titanium connection rod on it, it's going to upset some things based on weight. I mean, that whole thing is tuned around, having certain.
He's got to follow up a little.
Oh, he's got another one? Yeah. But titanium sounds cool for the thing. Let's see. Side note, we have tried all of the standard fixes: carbon fiber bars, foam grips, BRP rubber submounts, motor mount, retorque variation, wheel bounce, etc. Hoping the border opens up south. Have you tried flex bars? Flex handlebars and then the BRP bar mount? Yeah, so he's done the BRP rubber submounts. Carbon fiber bars. I would. It depends on the kind of the way it was wound up. I tend to think sometimes carbon fiber likes to be stiffer. Yeah, you've done all the stuff. I don't really realize. Your crank could just be out of round, and this there's certain bikes this is a big problem on. I mean, especially when you run them hard. Just the jarring, the impacts and jarring would actually cause the cranks to kind of twist a little bit and come out around. So you might just want to have your crank balanced. And in fact, I had a card here I'm going to tell you who to send your crank to. Where is it? Right here. Competitive Crankshafts. You want to get a hold of Jeff Siebold at Competitive Crankshafts, and he's up in Boise, Idaho. And I wish he had his website on this. yeah, he was hard to find even when he was in Orange County. This guy did a lot of the race team stuff, and he was good. He did. He's done any 2-stroke crankshaft that I've had to rebuild, and I haven't had to rebuild a 4-stroke one in ever. So can't.
I think they're just a Facebook.
Yeah, he had something, but he's up there in Boise, Idaho, and if maybe we can give this to George, he can type in the phone number or something like that. He's got it. Okay. So yeah, I wouldn't. I don't know why a titanium rod would reduce the vibration. It's gonna just affect the kind of the balance inside the motor to a certain extent. Maybe one of those new ceramic pistons, titanium printed pistons.
Just make sure it all weighs exactly like the stock.
something like that. Okay. And Marty Small is telling somebody to not be a pussy and get a 500. He says he's 63 and he still rides a 501 Husqvarna. And Kate Spars has a 20% discount going on. Mark Daniels just ordered 3 cases. Yeah. 50 watchers and Ricky is not on. Good stuff. You're comparing you to Ricky Brabeck. Because they thought he got the most views.
Well, maybe
George keeps track of that. Did he? Do you have the biggest following that night when Ricky was on?
I think it was Johnny that went over 100. Didn't
Yeah, I thought John. Maybe it was both of them. No, because they weren't both on at the same time. Hey, you got Johnny Campbell's wife to join. Weren't they doing an Instagram live at a competing time?
See which way she was going to go.
Well, I sent her really good pictures the other day of her and her daughter back like from 20 years ago that I had on an old hard drive that I found. Let's see. CM Johnson says he's putting Racetech Gold valves in his 450R and he loves that company. That's good. The gloves are off. Why are the gloves off? Because I was talking about Bob. Mark Daniel says the Napa Auto Parts truck patches are the best, Bob. So that can handle that. And Steve Webb, they're in there, $3.99 for slime scabs. Cheap. Let's see. From Victor, who is on a Facebook timeout, commissioned me. Jimmy, working on my daughter's XR80, all stock. What can I do to make it faster? No, I'm not talking about twisting the throttle. I know you're not talking about it. She needs to talk about it. She needs to twist the throttle farther. Making an XR80 faster when it's all stock. The older ones, they used to make 95 kits. There was these bore kits on those bikes. The best thing you can do is just bore them out if you want to make them faster. Don't cut the muffler off. Don't believe in that stuff. Because if you do the muffler, you need to do the pot, you need to do the carburetor, and it's just a big, just chasing a lot of stuff. But a lot of these companies have usually like BBR has kits. It's Brown Brothers Racing. They have a kit. It's a bolt on. It comes with a cylinder and the gaskets and usually a bigger main jet, and you just bolt it on and go, and they rip. I know because my cheater bike that I race around in the flat track, although we couldn't race today because we're too busy. It has a cheater BBR kit on it, and Logan, you need to clean the carburetor in that thing because that having to run with the choke on is we're cutting power. And it needs to be faster. And I'm telling you, that throttle's twisted all the way when I'm riding it. There's one position. Let's see. Got any other? Oh, Spencer Bloomer. Hey, Spencer has a question. I saw that. Other than the time we were breaking a new trail in an undisclosed area and got hit by a snowstorm, how close have you ever gotten to being stuck out on the trail? Close a lot of times, but never completely stuck. I've had ignitions go out at the bottom of canyons that were icy and nearly impossible to get out, and somehow I got out. Had strange ignition failures on bikes for no reason. Now I don't think I've ever really haven't been too close to getting stuck out in the trail unless I wanted to. And that wasn't really that that snowstorm, Spencer, by the way, which is probably 25 years ago, maybe, when he's talking about. It was this late in the year, and we got literally, like, by the time we left, it was more than 25 years ago. Now I think about it. By the time we left, there was like 2 feet of snow on the ground, and we were mostly worried about getting the truck out of where we'd parked to drive off the mountain.
Heather said you and Johnny had to hike out of a canyon.
No, we never hiked out. All we had to do was ride off a cliff. That's easy. Gravity worked in our favor. No problem. I mean, it was close, but like, how close? He said, how close? Very close. I've gotten very close, but I've never had to walk out. You ever had to walk out, Trevor?
I don't think so. I've run out of gas a few times. Entirely my fault, but luckily there's been someone to rescue me. So I guess I don't think I can recall walking out of anywhere.
That's good.
I think
that's a good record to keep, because actually, that'd probably be a really good thing to ask someone that I see all these like kind of meetup dual sport groups on Facebook, and they're adventure rider meetup groups. I think that should be one of your questions you should ask somebody. It's like, hey, so have you ever had to camp out with your bike or sleep out or not make it out of a trail ride? That's a really good question to ask somebody. And if they say no, then maybe they are a good person to go riding with. But if they're one of those ding dongs,
but if they say yes, they have experience.
Yeah, well,
Which could go both ways.
Maybe one on accident, but if they have had to do it multiple times, maybe it's a habit, and they're not. Then maybe they were getting too much practice at that, because I don't want to. I did not have to hike out of a canyon, honey. We didn't. We made it back. It was close. Well, it like up there like 3 or 4 times we had some pretty close calls. Because it's always like late afternoon. It's like, hey, let's get one more ride in. Let's go do that really gnarly canyon, because it's like we want to get it done and we want to go ride it. And then, yeah, you get close. But Logan, I got a couple questions. You want to come over here and read some questions? Logan is wearing his riding gear because he got to ride today.
Am I done or am I?
Oh, you want out of here?
I don't know.
No, you just sit here. Just hand Logan that microphone. He'll sit in the middle, and I just want you to know that we're being nice to you. First question is right here. Yeah, this one right there. It's about the KTM 390. Just read it.
Giovanni Martini.
Giovanni. Oh, we got to turn you up there. Here, how about that? Go ahead. There, say hi to everybody.
Hi, I'm Logan Tyler.
Yep, and Logan's going to help us with the difficult questions today. It's remember it's a radio show, so you have to kind of keep making noise.
All I can just complete thanks. Information, Fortnite.
Just keep going. You're doing I'm kind of surprised right now. This is good. I'm thirsty, so keep talking.
Hello. Precaution.
Yep, keep going. Il
restore.
Relagato. Fantastico. Keep going.
Sombre.
I don't even know what that one is. Bello, Porter, Verse, Sutulitunioni, in Italiano o Alamino in Inglese. Che ne dit. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm sure Jerry Bernardo is rolling over in his grave because my slaughtering of the Italian language. Keep going, Logan. Keep slaughtering the Italian language.
Robbie. Possibility. Di Gadarini. Anche
e ci kami non lo
Comprende?
cose velocimo in
It's velocamente. So some of the so it's funny because right in the beginning you actually started translating it. You
These were kinda easy.
you literally started using English words on those first ones.
yeah.
How did you?
that one.
Where did that come from? That's pretty amazing actually.
Complete this route.
Yeah, compliments. That's compliments.
Oh.
And I don't know what it's like for the great information of the precision and relates. I don't know. I'm just, it's so you're going to start taking Italian next year at your school?
Probably not.
Probably not. What language are you going to take?
Probably Spanish.
Chinese. Take Chinese.
Do it.
You'll be more valuable in the long run, and then you'll know when they start sending. Are you going to translate it?
I'm gonna try.
Look at this kid pulls his phone out and he's going to do a translation.
Kids,
Here we go.
These days.
Yeah, this is how I get so smart. I just watch the kids. Logan broke the internets, but he did find out the name of our our person. What was it? It was Do Have was the one that was going to recreate the recluse clutch and whatever. Did it say what language it was? No. Okay, so what is that? What is the other thing that Giovanni wants to? Next time, Giovanni, if you could use the translate on your end, you won't cause Logan to blow up the internets. So all good on that front, and we'll kind of keep it rolling here.
Closed captions are auto-generated.
On this show.
Yeah, it's on closed captions.
Where do we get closed captions?
Facebook.
But it's
Oh, really?
closed captions.
Well, somebody said they were watching it on some platform, and they said the captioning was awesome.
It looks like it's working really good.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's what broke the internets.
Even like names.
when we start trying to rattle off names. Okay, we're going to talk about YZ125X because both of you guys rode it, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Yep. That was a fun bike, yeah?
Yeah.
Why do they make that?
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, for you guys, right?
Yeah.
For you, Logan. They make it for you.
Yes.
You're the target audience of that bike, in all honesty.
Pretty much.
Because you're coming off an 85, big wheel 85,
Yes.
or 105, or whatever displacement was right before it blew up. And then you go to 250F and you look like a flag on the back of the thing.
Yeah.
And even though the 125 is kind of the same size motorcycle, it actually fits you quite a bit better, no?
Yes.
Yeah. Why?
The suspension is closer to my weight
Right.
stock, and the motor is kind of not all the way. It's like closer to an 85.
So it's not gnarly.
Yes.
And 250F is like gnarly to you.
Yes.
Kind of like my Husaberg is to me.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what would be when do you? So Trevor and I, we talked about this a little bit. What do you think the biggest advantage to that bike is when you're riding it? Like, what do you feel is the thing that works the best for you, or what makes it work good? Suspension?
The weight.
That's funny how he called that out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. Good test rider. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's exactly what we. So, what's the weight difference? It's close to 30 pounds.
I believe it came in like 216, 217 with the full tank of gas.
Right.
And then the 250F X was like 242, 243 maybe.
Yeah.
So close to 30 pounds. Yeah.
And when you're riding it, it absolutely feels like 30 pounds lighter.
Yep.
And especially when you like get on it and you're like really revving it. And we had a big discussion on show number 59 about weight, about where the weight comes from, why power feels like weight sometimes. So you can kind of go back if you remember that, your brain's probably fried like mine was when I was talking about it. But that 125 feels so light and so agile. It's funny because I like goofing around, and it'll lift the front wheel, no problem. I mean, I can get that front wheel up. It makes plenty of power to do that. and then I can steer it all over the place. And it's really rare, like when I'm on a heavier bike that takes more power to, you know, kind of get it up. It just doesn't want to pivot and move around like that. It's so much fun on that bike. But then for me, a guy 200 pounds, just doesn't have the snap and the throttle response that you know, a bigger bike has. And so I have to be kind of careful when I'm riding it, because I've gotten so lazy, knowing that, you know, on a 450 or, you know, even a 250F for that matter, I can just, you know, blip the throttle and get the front end to lighten up and come up, or you know, you're going to go jump off something, and every time you blip the throttle, it lifts and goes. Where on the 125, it was like, yeah, I'd be covering the clutch, ready to go. So what did you think about the power?
It was like, it was almost more fun than the KTM 125, power-wise.
Oh, you can't say that in the show. Do you know who sponsors this show? I'm going to make you do that read just for saying that later on tonight. You're going to close the show by doing the KTM read for that. No, go ahead. I keep explaining.
Yeah.
Tell me why. Why?
It was,
Describe it. Describe it like it was a flavor of ice cream. Tell us what you felt.
the KTM, you kind of had to always be on the pipe. So, and then the YZ, you could, like, you didn't have to always. You could, it was easier to get to the pipe, and also
Because it has better low end.
Yes.
It has better low end power. And your KTM is a carbureted KTM.
Yeah.
Because the other thing I kind of drew comparisons to is the new fuel injected 150s. Because I've ridden those, the Husky and the KTM 150. That's and we talked about fuel injection earlier in the show, and I like it for absolutely every reason, especially since I don't have to change jets. But it's a little bit like cheating, because then you can do these big throttle openings and it doesn't bog, because it's perfect when the carburetor has to do a little bit of mechanical work in there. And on our bike we did not since you got to ride it since we changed the jetting. We lowered the needle one position and dropped a pilot jet size, and it rips. I mean, like, how it felt like maybe a little bit sluggish on the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's not like that anymore. It might need to be now because the filter's probably completely plugged. But that's because Trevor made me ride in the sand dunes and do wheelies and pivot turns and stuff like that. So, yeah. And so so you feel like you have to use the clutch a lot more on your KTM than you do on the Yamaha, or not really?
No, it's not that much.
Yeah.
Of a substantial thing, but it's a little easier on the 125, on the YZ.
Yeah. What did you think, Trevor?
125X was good. It's real torquey, especially compared to like the Moto model. So for off-road riding, like you said, we did a little like light extreme enduro riding. I wouldn't even call it extreme enduro, but just like more technical riding.
Yep.
Going up steep hills and rocks and stuff, and the bike it went up the hills pretty easily.
But you said something was pretty interesting. I was like, we were talking about it being torquey, and you said, yeah, but it's the gearing.
Yes, though it's the has a 52.3 on the back, whereas the Moto model has a 48. So I think that helps a little bit in that area as well. Just kind of being able to ride ride like a gear high, I guess, or just being able to lug it
like
a little more.
In that, it was full first gear stuff.
It was first gear and still kind of working the clutch.
You had to work the clutch, but you didn't have to hammer it. You weren't really slipping it to just keep it moving. You could almost let it out a little bit more.
Yeah, it's more just cover your mistakes more than having to ride it.
Yep. And I was pretty surprised. I expected, like, when we started going up that, I'm like, oh, this is going to be any fun. It's not going to not want to do it. And then I almost, after I rode it a little bit later, I'm like, I wish I was on that bike then. I mean, the 250F was made that pretty easy, but we kind of made a post on the Instagrams. We said, we know which one is better, but which one is more fun was kind of the thing. Because if you're just talking about pure outright performance, the only area the 125 beats that 250F is in what? Weight. Yeah, and fun.
Yeah.
But fun's fun's kind of subjective. Like some people, like, they don't want to have that kind of fun. They want the thing that's fastest, the thing that
easy,
easier because if there's only one area I'm going to pick on the 250FX is the starting. You know, that's like really the only fault I can find with that bike. It just doesn't fire right up and consistently. Well, it seems like today when it was cold, it was cold, not cold out, but the bike was cold. And when it wasn't totally hot, it was firing right up. And we were doing all kinds of weird stuff, putting it in gear and seeing if it was based on maybe the clutch drag, which it really wasn't. But maybe when the oil gets warm or, something funny, I don't know. We'll have to explore that a little bit more. I know in the past with the old plug-in power tuners, sometimes you could affect the starting by changing some of the parameters on that. So we'll see how that works. But other than that, on the 250FX, I was blown away by how good. Like I said, I was kind of really surprised at how good it's become and how well it works. So, but kind of fun is sort of a subjective term, and I definitely had fun on that X, and it's going to stay here because I'm going to ride it some more. I wish it would rain because riding that thing in the sand tracks and the rain is just that's fun. But I'm going to ride it back to back with my old 2005 YZ125 and really see, because it hasn't changed all that much. I mean, that bike as a YZ has really, and then the X, the little changes they made to the X, I want to kind of pick them apart and see how they work. 'Cause I think they've done a great job with the suspension. Didn't care for the tires so much.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan either.
Yeah, I think changing the tires in that bike could really make it even better. They're stiff, by the way, and you probably would notice that.
Yeah, it was.
It felt like there was 3 or 4 extra pounds of air in the tire.
Yeah, it was the first bit of the stroke was really hard of the suspension.
Yeah.
That's what I was feeling.
That's the tires.
But, yeah.
I mean, a lot of that's the tires, and especially for someone your weight, you're going to notice it more than me. And we got to find out whether the tires on the 250FX, if those are stock.
Yes.
The MX.
Ours has 3 S's.
3 S's.
Not 81s.
And is that stock?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I believe.
You went to the intro. You're supposed to know this stuff.
I believe it had 81s on it. I think most off-road bikes come with 81s.
Yeah.
Stocks. I assume it would come with 81s, but I'm not 100%
Yeah.
sure.
Got to check into that. Yeah. They make that. Where's the press kit? Where's the press kit? Actually, it's probably in the spec sheet someplace. Actually, it's probably right on the website, and we could go check it like we should. Do our homework. Anything else on those bikes? Oh, I got another question for you too. There's another one for you. Don't worry, we got you. No, you can't look at it. Hey, what? Is that all you want to talk about the Yamahas? You're done. How come you didn't ride your KTM over here?
It's not running.
Oh
no!
You're just bashing my sponsors. just because it fouled a plug's not KTM's problem. That means you don't twist the throttle enough, right? Yes, no. Do we know? Is that what happened at a foul plug?
I think
Load it up. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna jet it. I'll get my fingers wet in the gas and we'll jet it. And hey, we kind of threw a shout out to on the socials also if anybody had any really good maps for the 2020 YZ250FX that they were proud of, especially ones that they built. Hey, send them to us. And you know what? If you give us a map that knocks our socks off, we will we'll name it after dirt bike test. We'll call it the dirt bike test map, and we'll send you a T-shirt. No, actually, I'll give whoever gets it to us all that credit, and I'll send you a T-shirt because I like to try different things, and we're gonna play around and start messing around with maps. Actually, I like the more mellow map on that bike. The switch on the fly is so. That's the other thing that's super bitching about that. The 250FX is just putting it on there. So we'll have some full tests of those bikes up soon. Some videos up of those bikes soon on the website. So keep an eye out for that. Hey, how did that photo get up there of me riding in the sand? Did you put that up? It's on somehow. It's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I did.
You put that up?
I did.
Yeah, that's why our air filter's dirty, by the way.
Yeah. Hopefully, Michael Orch doesn't see that.
Why? He knows I'll clean it. Yeah, I'm not like all the other journalists who just like take it back and they're like, this bike runs like crap. And then you do like the air filter looks like somebody poured sand like that over it. But it worked fine yesterday. It's good. We are going to work on those things one of these days.
Eventually.
Yeah. Okay, Logan, next question. You got it. It's kind of on the next page. I think it's down towards near the bottom. Right there, yeah.
Who is this?
Right.
Blank is a current motorcycle racer that helps with a podcast. He is a KTM 125 SX as his personal bike and uses a YZ 250F as a daily driver. He is a 14-year-old that likes to teach older men and women to get better at riding.
Did your sister write that for you?
I told her, and then she edited it.
I typed it out.
You typed it out. That was I was right. That was a team effort.
Yeah,
Yes.
you said it.
He said it out loud and you typed it. And that's why he had a hard time reading it, because he didn't even type it himself.
Yeah.
So that's Logan's profile right there. It's up on what dating app are you on, Logan? That's his app on on the dating profile. No, Logan sent me his profile for our school's websites. By the way, JimmyLewisOffroad.com. We're currently not running schools, but we will be soon as we get back up and running with this terrible COVID thing when it goes away. But that's Logan's profile. He's actually one of my coaches, where he does like being a 14-year-old kid that tells grown-ups what to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're pretty good at it. I mean, you kind of understand what's going on. You know, you get to watch. You know, it's pretty easy to stand back and watch somebody when they're doing something wrong if you understand the fundamentals of it.
Yeah.
And it's not get over the back and gas it, is it?
No.
No. Good. Anybody else have any other questions? Do we got any stuff in the chat rooms and places like that? So if you are listening to this and you want to get more involved in the live show, we generally go 7:00 on Tuesday evenings Pacific Standard Time on our Facebook page, because that's sort of working out for us right now. If you want to watch this, you can watch it on YouTube. A lot of times we also put these up on Dirt Bike Tests. They're up as individual posts. And if you really want to find out about some product, a particular bike, a lot of times we have tested that. So definitely go to dirtbiketest.com and check it out. Hey, Clint Chu says his buddy just bought a new 250FX and it came with Dunlop 3S's stock. So good on Yamaha if they did that.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. And Clint, does your buddy want a job here as a test rider? Because Trevor isn't cutting it right now. How are the vibes? Todd Kelly wants to know, how are the vibes on the two-stroke Yami, on the two Yamis? So
Vibes are good.
You got good vibes from the bike.
I do.
It's funny because I was noticing we did ride about 3 or 4 miles of highway yesterday on the 125, and it has a 6-speed transmission in it, right?
Yes.
There's 6 gears in there.
All 125s do, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Yamaha used to have a 5-speed for a while. They actually kind of went back I think they went back and forth because lighter. You know, they were working on lighter, and for motocross, you just didn't really need it.
Yep.
But okay, so it's 6-speed. I wasn't really counting. I was just putting it in the right gear. And I tell you what, when I'm in 6th gear, it's not the right gear. I need a 7th and an 8th.
Yes.
So you do pay for that 50-tooth sprocket in top speed. But we were just going 45 miles an hour down the road, and you're kind of like right where that power valve wants to open. And speaking of that, I'm back to the Yamaha YZ125X. That's one of the places where they tune that bike, right? Is in the power valve governor.
Yeah, I believe they changed the timing of it, maybe, or
so it opens up over a longer spread, so it's a smoother, and
Yes.
that really is noticeable on that bike. I mean, for such a for a small change, it makes a big difference. And is the pipe on that one different?
I don't think so.
Same as YZ?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same.
But it's different now.
Yeah. I wanted to change it. That was why.
Really?
That was why. I really thought it needed that.
It needed a little bump from a rock?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you crash when that happened?
I don't know when that happened, but it was kind of on the back side, so I don't think that happened when I crashed.
That's what
I don't know where that came from.
I was going, how did you do that? Because it looked like it was going, the bike might have been going backwards, and I didn't notice it all day until the end of the day when I pointed it out.
Yeah, I didn't notice either, but
yeah. So pretty good. So the vibes, and then the 250, I didn't notice any vibration at all. But I got a little bit. You get a little bit of tingy on the 125. You can feel it kind of when it's just before it comes on the power valve, but it doesn't need a titanium connection rod for sure. It's not that bad.
I don't think so.
And the 250F, I didn't notice vibration at all. None. Yeah. So, okay. I think we've gone an hour and a half, which is half an hour too much, right, Logan?
Yes.
Were we mean to you today, making you read your profile?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Good. You're going to wash bikes tomorrow, right after you water the flat track. Because we're going to ride flat track. We're going to take those new bikes out in the flat track tomorrow. Full knobs. Just go for it. Let it eat. Yeah? So, hey, thanks everybody for joining in. Thanks for listening. Support us in the different ways you can. You can write a letter to KTM and tell them how much you like them sponsoring the show. And with that, we're going to have Logan finish out the show by telling us why we're able to be here with you tonight. It's courtesy of KTM. And but yeah, click on our site. Oh, buy a T-shirt maybe. It's right up there. Support dirtbiketest.com, and then I can go and do more of what's on the other TV screen right now. So riding. Okay, Logan, take it away.
Marietta. Powered by a distinct ready-to-race mentality, KTM is the world's leading high-performance street and off-road sport motorcycle manufacturer. With North America headquarters based in Marietta, California, over the years, KTM has built a reputation as a fierce competitor on racetracks around the world, and the brand's remarkable global success is reflected in every product it develops and every move it makes.
Awesome. So with that, guys, we're going to say we will see you out in the trail. Cheers.
What's up, Moto buddies? Mike here from Taco Moto Co. Who are we? We make and sell the ultimate products to perfect out your Austrian dual sport motorcycle, a KTM EXC, EXCF, XCFW, Husqvarna FE, and FES. And soon we'll be developing some products and components for the Honda CRF 450L, RL, and X bikes. We build out bikes for our clients and friends, from Sunday Trail Specials all the way up to fully equipped global slayers like what RTW Paul is riding on as he travels around the world on an EXC 500. In late 21, we'll be rolling out a full service suspension shop as well as a motor program, full rebuilds, blueprinting, balancing, getting rid of the motor buzz and the big bore KTM thumpers, top end, valve grindings, the works. We want to extend, ultimately, what we're after is to extend your ride day and your endurance and your stamina and be able to keep you on the bike for more riding years. We've got a bunch of 70-year-old riders out there who, with our help, hopefully will be riding well into their 90s. Taco Moto Co. Find us out on all the socials. Go out and get some adventure.